Yes, what I'm presenting today are the key highlights of a joint work I've been doing with Joanna and Denis from UBO. We start from a sector which was already in the discussion today, which is aquaculture. A few key facts from the sectors. European aquaculture currently covers 10% of European fish consumption, against 25% of European fisheries and 65% of non-European fisheries plus aquaculture. As we've just seen, it's promoted by the European Blue Growth Strategy with the objective of filling the gap between what we consume and what we produce in Europe. At the same time, production levels today are the same as they were in 2000. European aquaculture has two main strengths, which are high quality and high environmental standards. So everything's good, we should just go ahead with it. Well, actually not, otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it. First of all, it's true, we have high quality, but high quality implies high costs, which means that European aquaculture has a competitive disadvantage with non-EU countries, which sell fish at much lower prices. This has been addressed through policy at the EU level. For example, there are 25% of the European Maritime Fund to the sector. Within the common fishery policy, there has been the Aquaculture Advisory Council that was established, which is a cooperative voluntary consulting body made by both policymakers and private stakeholders. At the same time, there is a need of technological improvement to reduce cost and increase competitiveness. And then we go to probably the most problematic aspect of aquaculture. On the one hand, coastal areas in the European Union are already intensively occupied. So this poses constraint to a further expansion of aquaculture. And aquaculture has a strong environmental impact. Part of these challenges could be overcome by including aquaculture in maritime spatial planning. For example, because it could help in reducing conflicts, encouraging investment, and increase coordination, and especially cross-border cooperation. And at the same time, it would allow for integration with other economic activities, which could help reducing the space constraint. Then we looked at marine renewable energies. There is a large production potential in the European Union. For example, it was estimated that tidal energy alone could reach 80% of EU energy production in 2010. It gives opportunities to contribute to European emission reduction targets. And there is a large potential for economic growth and job creation, not only in energy production itself, but also in all the supporting activities that turn around aquaculture, marine renewable energies. However, we also have some challenges also in this case, because some technologies are still immature, and in particular, the grid connection needs to be developed. The supporting activities need to be developed as well. And last but not least, it proved difficult to assess and compensate the environmental impact of marine renewable energies. So at present there's a need of European support to technological development. There's a need of financing. So this could be partly covered through EU support, But also some voluntary payment mechanisms should be developed and established to secure financing. Again, marine renewable energies could be included in maritime special planning so that private investment could be facilitated and also to enable synergies with other sectors. And then we look at coastal tourism. And again, I'm starting with the strength of coastal tourism because it's a sector which can enable economic and social development of local community, and historically it has contributed to this development. And tourism can also be a driver for economic growth in coastal areas because it's a driving force for the development of other sectors. However, the current mass tourism model focuses on the 3S, we call it, which is sun, sand, and sea, and it proved to have had a limited potential for adding value and capturing value at the local level. If we think, for example, at large hotel chains, normally the profits are not the profits of these hotels are not enjoyed on site, but these are international chains. And then there's an issue that is showing now about coastal tourism, and especially the 3S model. This model has a strong environmental impact. For example, let's think about the landscape degradation, and this causes a loss of attractiveness of coastal destinations because people were going there for the beautiful landscape and the beautiful nature in the first place. So this is bringing the sector to a decline. So we call it the vicious circle of coastal tourism because it's eating up itself. How to address these? There are some key challenges that are inherent to the sector. It's a very fragmented sector. There are a lot of operators because you have hotels, you have beach resorts, you have leisure activities, and these are all different actors which are normally uncoordinated. And a bit everywhere, for example in the Mediterranean, there is no overall planning framework for the sector. You have environmental regulation, you have urban planning regulations, you have economic policies, but not really a strategy for the tourism sector itself. At the same time, the current decline of mass tourism also represents an opportunity if we want to see it in the positive way, because there's a need for an innovative business model which promotes a high-quality, sustainable offer, which highlight a contrast between the idea of tourism growth, which is just more arrivals, more people, let's get more and more profit, and tourism development, which include the economic growth of the sector, but also a benefit sharing at the local level and from all stakeholders, and including the environmental health of destinations. To do this, there is a need for a comprehensive strategic tourism planning, which takes into account the environment, but also allows for a sharing of socio-economic benefit with all stakeholders. To do this, there is a need to develop and establish an overall governance system, allowing the cooperation and informed participation of all stakeholders. There have been some cases in the Mediterranean of such a governance system, but most of the time cooperation between stakeholders does not happen. And so I would leave the word again to Maris or to Pierre. Okay.